Hey guys, so we're into chapter 7.1, and I want you to first go through the instructions that I gave you previously. Work through page 318 to page 320. You need to work through those examples on your own before you watch the movie. See how much you can get out of those examples by yourself. And then you start watching the videos where I'll solve some of the problems for you so you can see how we deal with it. But just to recap, so we are on quadratic equations, and if we look back at linear equations, standard form y is equal to mx plus b. Okay? Quadratic equation has a difference, and the difference is that it has an x squared. Okay? So our standard form for a quadratic equation is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So important thing that we notice here is that we have an x squared, and that is what makes it a quadratic equation. Now, how do we graph a quadratic equation? It's actually very easy to graph a quadratic equation. What we do is we set up for ourselves a table of values. So I'm going to do number 9 on page 321, which is y is equal to a half x squared. Okay, now this is a quadratic equation in its simplest form. Okay, I'm going to graph this one, and then on the same graph afterwards, I'm just going to graph y is equal to x squared. Okay, so this is the first one that I'm going to graph, and then secondly, just after that, we're going to just add into it y is equal to x squared, so that you can see how it changes from the ordinary standard form to a half x squared. Okay, so let's do that. We choose a table of values, and we choose values for x. We say minus 3, minus 2, minus 1, and 1, 2, and 3. Okay, we choose those values for ourselves. Okay, and then we go and we plonk the x value into the equation, and we find the answer will be our y, our whatever we need to plot for y. Okay, so here we go. We're going to say a half times, and this is minus 3 squared. Okay, and minus 2. I'm going to just first put them all in, with minus 2 in here, squared, and then a half times minus 1 squared, a half times 0 squared, a half times 1 squared, a half times 2 squared, and then a half times 3 squared. Okay, so we're going to we put this into the place of x for each of these equations, and then we find the answer. Okay, so the answer here is a half, and then minus a half time. Okay, so we start with this. Minus 3 squared is 9. Okay, and remember the minus is inside the bracket, so it becomes positive. It's minus times minus, which becomes positive. So that becomes 9 times a half, which gives us 4 and a half. Okay, and this one becomes 2 squared is 4, and then minus times minus is 4, so that's 4 times a half, which gives us 2. And here we get minus 1 squared is 1 times a half, so here we get a half. Okay, and then 0, of course, this is going to be 0. Now, if we work through these, we'll see that the pattern gets repeated, and we get the same values, 4 and a half. So if I just put the lines in so you can clearly see which one goes with which. And now I have a set of x values and I have a set of y values. And I'm going to plot this one with that one, and this one with that one, etc. Okay, so let's go over here on the graph. Okay, so my first value for x is minus 3. So let's find minus 3. Okay, so this is minus 3. And the first value for y was 4.5. So let's find 4.5. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 4.5 is here. So minus 3 and 4.5 ends up being here. Minus 3 and 4.5. Okay, now we go minus 2 and 2. Okay, so here is 2 and there's minus 2. Minus 2 and 2. And then minus 1 for x and a half for y. There's a half. So here we are, and then 0 and 0. Now when we go the other side, we'll see that it's exactly a mirror image of that side. So whatever we had here, we're going to repeat. So we're going to have a half. For x we have 1, and for y we have a half. This one was a little bit out. Let's just put it there. For y we have a half, which is here. Okay, and then for x we have 2 and 2, so here we go, 2 and 2 is there, and then we go to 3 and 4.5. Okay, and there's 4.5 and there's 3 up there. Okay, this we connect, we don't just connect the points, we need to make sure that it's a curve. And there it is. Okay, so this is our graph of y is equal to a half x squared. Okay, I'm going to plot a few values in here just to show you what happens if I now do y is equal to x squared. So let's just quickly plot a few values here. I'm just going to pick 2 or 3 values so that you can see. Here's x squared, and y. Okay, so this is for y is equal to x squared. So we're going to just choose minus 2, minus 1, 0, and 1 and 2. Okay, so minus 2 squared will give me what? Minus 2 squared gives me 4. Okay, minus 1 squared gives me 1. And 0 squared is going to be 0. And the pattern is going to be repeated. 2 squared is going to be 1 squared. Thank you, Mr. Cameraman. 1 squared is going to be 1. And then 2 squared is going to be 2. It's going to be 4. 2 squared, 4. Okay, so here we have 4. This is our pattern here. So I'm going to plot this on the same graph so that you guys can see. And I'm going to do it in blue.
50 seconds left.
Okay, I'm going to do it in blue. Okay, minus 2 and 4.